Okay, it's Thursday morning. Left home around a little bit before 7 o'clock, heading to West Virginia to meet Michael Doherty for our weekend of riding on the Hatfield-McCoy Trails in West Virginia, taking the little Yamaha WR250R. Michael's driving down from New York in his new Ford Transit van. We're gonna have a great weekend. 52 north, heading towards Pilot Mountain. Expect to get to West Virginia, Gilbert, West Virginia, in about 3.5 hours. We're staying in Gilbert, West Virginia at the Gilbert Suites. And this is a place where a lot of people who come up here to ride the Hatfield and McCoy Trails stay. They bring their toy haulers and their four-wheelers, their side-by-sides. And you can park them right outside your room. Michael and I are here. That's his new transit van. A little cold this morning. It'll be cold on the trail early. There's frost in the cars. Here's my room, Lucky 7. And I would say that this room is decorated just perfectly for the off-road trail rider. The floors are tile, so it's easy to clean. People walk in here with muddy shoes and boots. It's got basically a large doormat by the bed. All the furniture looks like it came out of a mechanic surplus warehouse. And got a big armoire here with, it's just all, looks like a tool chest, like a mechanic would have at a car dealer. But everything is clean and it looks freshly painted. There's nothing fancy about it, but it's very nice and everything works. So glad to be here. To ride on the Hatfield-McCoy Trails, you need a permit. The permits are available everywhere. You can buy them online, but we bought ours through Gilbert Suites. They were provided, and the permits were in the rooms when we checked in. Also, you get a sticker that you must put on the left side of your helmet to identify that you have bought the permit. That is actually the permit. And they also provide you with maps, and the maps show all the trails. Now, there are hundreds of miles of trails in the Hatfield-McCoy Trails with names like Rock House and Pocahontas and Devil Aints. And there are sections of the trails that are rated easy, moderate, and difficult. And then there's some single track trails, again, also easy and more difficult. The trail area covers, I guess, literally hundreds of square miles. There are several towns that are involved. Those are all locations where you might choose a place to stay. And the accommodations range from, as I mentioned before, from a place like Gilbert Suites to a room in somebody's house. The trails can be literally right outside the front door of your accommodations, or you might have to ride 20 miles on a paved connector road to get to the start of a new trailhead. During the day, while you're riding the trails are really almost 100% exclusively on the road. There may be, a half-mile connector or a couple-mile connector between trails that you might have to be on the pavement, but it's just about all on off-road. So it's a off-road rich experience. The whole reason for the existence of the Hatfield-McCoy Trails is based on the legend of the feud between the Hatfield clan and the McCoy clan. And reportedly, the origins of this feud starts with the conflict of the Civil War. Doc?
for the McCoys. I don't see
any. You won't.
That'd get me struck down by lightning, won't it?
Yeah.
Apparently some fought for the north, some fought for the south, and then the conflict persisted in these hollers of the West Virginia mountains even after people came home from the war. A word about the grading system for the trails, easy, moderate, and difficult. We found that the trails, one, to be in good condition. These are maintained trails, but they're not gravel roads like for cars. Cars definitely cannot pass on these trails. I think Jeeps would have some difficulty on these trails. And we found that the easy trails, which is mostly what we did, were challenging enough. We did do some moderate trails, which were a little more challenging and had more to do with maybe the condition of the trail. Maybe there were a few wet spots in low or shady areas, areas that don't dry out very well after rain. But we found that the scales system is definitely something to pay attention to. You might think that you've ridden a whole lot in difficult conditions. I would say that the easy scale, if you're experienced on gravel roads, and you'll get some challenges here. You might be interested in the traffic on the trails. We rode on a Thursday afternoon and a Friday, and on weekdays there were not many other vehicles on the road, especially on Thursday afternoon. Friday was definitely there was a lot more traffic, more motorcycles, mostly dirt bikes. We only saw one other adventure bike, which was a BMW R1200 GS, which was kind of surprising. Sort of a large bike for this trail. And then we saw lots of side-by-sides. And you have to be careful. The roads are very curvy and windy, and you can go around the turn, and all of a sudden there can be bikes or side-by-sides. Sometimes there's only enough room for a side-by-side to go by at one time, and you have to stop. As usual, Michael was faster, more competent rider, more confident rider, and he would ride ahead and have some fun, maybe check out the road conditions ahead, and then after a while he would pause and wait for me, and I would usually be coming up behind him before long. I had trouble with keeping my bike upright all the time, especially in the greasy, muddy areas. I had a number of times when my bike fell. These were all low-speed incidents, and oftentimes due to the fact that my leg was not long enough to reach the ground when I started to lean over at very, very low speed. But fortunately, no injuries, and a couple of small things on the motorcycle to straighten out the bark busters or straighten out a brake lever or a shift lever. Michael runs the tubeless system in his KTM, tubeless tire wheel system, and he felt like that gave him a real advantage in traction. He felt like he was always hooked up and didn't have as much slipping and sliding as I did, and based on my observation and experience, that must be the only reason why I felt that he didn't. This filming was done with my new GoPro Hero 9, and I'm still learning how to do videography and editing and that sort of thing. So you're seeing my first real attempt at such an adventure. But I will say that the GoPro Hero 9 is a really amazing camera. It can do a lot of things. It's not the same as even as your phone camera or a pocket camera. So the image quality, especially on photos, is not exactly the same, but the ability to capture action is amazing. It has an image stabilization feature, and when it's turned on, as all these videos were made with image stabilization turned on, it gives a distorted view of the actual experience of riding on these trails. It gives a very smooth view. These images were performed or captured with the camera mounted on the handlebar, and there was quite a bit of vibration and up and down motion, and you could feel it in your arms and sometimes in your vision. You know, things would be blurred because of, you know, the washboard road effect. The camera pretty much eliminates all that, and so it can give a very gliding view of what's going on these roads. And if you're not aware of that, it can make you feel like, oh, these roads are really smooth and easy to ride. And they are, you know, mostly fairly smooth, but they're much rougher than the camera indicates. So to sum up, the Hatfield-McCoy Trail is really an impressive, extensive system of trails for all skill levels. Be a great riding weekend. The area itself is not necessarily a destination area to go, and for other activities. But these are not big bike trails. I think they're medium to small bike trails. If you want something a little more than smooth forest roads and gravel roads and maintained state roads, then this is definitely a place to come and try out. I don't think you'll ever get tired or even complete all the roads that are available here. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy this story on the Hatfield-McCoy Trails. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me.